Hey, Joe, what do you got for us tonight?
Well, tonight we're covering the disturbing case of the bodies in the Bayou. It's been common to find several bodies per year floating in the endless miles of waterways that intersect the sprawling city of Houston, Texas. However, that number has soared to record heights in the last 2 years. In September of 2025 alone, 6 bodies were discovered in less than 2 weeks, and some within close proximity to each other. This has caused many to suspect a serial killer may be responsible. However, the Houston police and mayor insist that is not the case. So, let's get into the details and try to determine for ourselves whether these deaths are unfortunate coincidences or the result of a serial killer stalking the streets of Houston.
Quiet your mind. Ever since the Earth has circled the sun, there have been fantastic tales of wonder and mystery that the faint of heart dare not discuss. But 3 brave, uninformed souls have the brass to tackle every extraordinary happenstance, from the modern age to the dawn of Mantis.
Welcome back to Dawn of Mantis, true crime, mysteries, and more. I'm Ivan with Joe and Sam. I was going to do something different today. I wasn't going to do like a roll call thing. I was going to be like, Joe. And you would say, I don't know.
Present.
Yeah, I don't know. Or it's something, I don't know. See, that's why I didn't do it, because I couldn't figure out a way. I wanted to call your name and you do some kind of like catchphrase or something, you know?
Oh, okay,
and we do that every week. But then as I was thinking about it, I was like, man, people would really get tired of that.
Probably so. It's a good call.
Stop with the roll call thing. We hate that.
Robot roll call. It worked on MST3K.
But Sam is present too, right, Sam?
I am here.
Oh, that works. So see, everyone knows that we're all here. Not like that one episode where I really wasn't.
I just listened to that. The April Fools
you did?
just
Yeah.
listened to that.
And Lonnie nailed it.
He nailed it within 6 hours.
He's a little detective out there. Yeah. So anyway, welcome. So we got an update on an old case we did a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
Joe, you want to talk about that?
Episode 251 was titled, I think, The Dumbest Murderer Ever, or The Stupidest Murderer Ever.
Stupidest. Yeah, I think the stupidest.
Brian Walsh.
Yeah.
So go listen to that.
He wasn't found guilty, was he?
Here's an update, okay? Because at the time we didn't know, like you said, it's been a couple years ago, but I'm reading this. This is from mid-December of last year, so just a few weeks ago.
We should preface it. This was the guy that went to Lowe's and bought the serial killer's kit. He bought the bags, the cleaning supplies, the tape, like everything that would put you on a FBI red
and
flag.
then on his computer, Googled how to dispose of 120-pound lady, how to kill wife. He almost literally said, like, how to dispose of my wife after I've murdered her, and trying to cover it up. It was that bad.
Yeah, I told one of my friends the other day, like, 0 deduction needed by the police. It was the most wrapped case that they ever had to take on.
And then he still had the gall to be like, when they arrested him, he was like, what?
Yeah.
What?
What are the charges?
This will be interesting.
That was what they told me to ask when I got arrested.
So we have an update now. Brian Walsh was sentenced on Thursday, so this was Thursday like 3 weeks ago, to life in prison without the possibility of parole after a Massachusetts jury found him guilty of killing and dismembering his wife, Anne, the mother of their 3 children, with the judge calling his acts barbaric and incomprehensible. Like I said, his wife, Anne Walsh, went missing on January 1st, 2023 at the age of 39. Her body has not been found. Brian Walsh, 50, pled guilty last month to improperly disposing of her body and lying to police following her disappearance. He had changed his plea on the 2 charges before jury selection got underway for the trial, while maintaining that he did not kill her. So anyway, Norfolk County jury found him guilty of first-degree murder on Monday after deliberating for 6 hours, which shouldn't have taken more than 6 minutes. He faced a mandatory life sentence in prison without the possibility of parole. So that's the update.
Well, I do have to tell you this. As you were reading that, I just got a message. One of our researchers found, and it's crazy they were able to find this, he actually called into our radio show around the time of the murders.
What?
Yeah. I don't know why I answered that way. It sounded like you don't believe me, but we have the audio.
This is brand new information.
It's breaking news, and it's only here. Only we have it.
This is incredible.
Let's play it and see if this further implicates him.
Welcome back to WDOM's Trading Post.
Trading Post is brought to you by Phil's LBTQ. That's lube, brakes, tires, and questions about your automobile. Phil and his team will get you back on the road. Go to www.philslube.com. Caller 19, you're on Trading Post.
Yeah, this is Tammy. I have 7 laying Rhode Island hens that I'd like to sell or trade. There are 7 of them and they are 3 years old. They each lay an egg and a half a day on average. I'm located in Thomas Canyon. I'd trade all of them for a sewing machine or gently used sectional or $20 a piece. My number is 814-555-0232.
Okay, thanks for the call. That's Laying Hens in Thomas Canyon, 814-555-0232. Welcome to the Trading Post, caller 20.
Todd here. I got a bolt-on receiver hitch for a 1990 Chevy Silverado that I'd like to sell. It said it'd fit my 89, but they're a bunch of damn liars. I bought it from Kmart before they went out of business.
Daddy, my go-kart won't start. You gotta leave your daddy alone. He's on the phone with the radio.
Anyway, I'd sell it for $125. That's $125 firm. I'm in Copperville, 713-555-9190.
Daddy, my go-kart won't start. Told you to leave him alone.
Okay, thanks for calling. Kmart Bot Hitch, Copperville, 713-555-9190. And good luck with that go-kart. Number 21, welcome to the Trading Post.
Yeah, this is Brian Walsh. And,
Sir, no need to use your full name.
Oh, crap. Oh, yeah. Okay. Sorry, I got nervous. Can you edit that out?
This is live.
Oh, okay. Well, this is not Brian Walsh. My name is Ben Walsh.
Sir.
Windshield truck. Ben Truckman.
Sir, you don't need to use your last name.
Sorry. Okay, gosh. I'm so nervous. But anyway, I'm looking to buy some items. I need some industrial-sized trash bags. Several rolls of duct tape, some cleaning supplies, replacement area rugs, and some shop rags.
Sir, we limit to only 3 items.
Sorry, okay, well, that's good for now. This is Brian, Ben. I'm located in Cohasset, 676-555-1090. I just don't want to buy all this at Lowe's. It makes me feel suspicious.
Okay, that's all the time we have. We'll see you tomorrow morning on another episode of Trading Post.
Interesting.
Wow. You know, I didn't know for sure the guy was guilty until after that. That cements it for me.
Yeah.
What about you? What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, it's amazing that our crack team of investigators were able to...
on crack.
We were talking about that earlier. What does that mean?
I don't know. I wish I did know what that meant.
That's the only time you've ever heard it used, is a crack team of investigators. There's no other crack team.
Yeah.
Like Kevin Nealon said, I think it was him that said, everyone's overwhelmed, but have you ever heard of just someone just being whelmed?
Yeah, because one of his specials was whelmed, but not overly.
Yes.
Yeah, no one's ever just whelmed.
Again, Mitch Hedberg, you've had refried beans, but what happened to just the fried beans?
I know. Somebody else said, why didn't they do it right the first time?
Right. Okay. So, yes, there we go.
We
Brian
can do this
Walsh.
all day long.
I know, man.
Yeah, he's guilty. He's going down. I don't know if they might have used that at his trial. We don't know.
Maybe they did. I would like to have seen that.
Or it could be satire.
I picture the lady that called in with the chickens.
Yeah.
I picture her as like early 60s, really baggy T-shirt, holding a bottle of wild turkey with one tit out. That's what I see.
And a bag
on her
of
front
Funyuns.
porch, yeah. But
I didn't think he was going to say T-shirt when he said really baggy.
Yeah. Well, you're right, but then he went there.
Yeah, he did.
You're like, he didn't go there, and then
There it
immediately
was.
right after. Yep.
I took a detour first.
And you did. We had temporary road construction. We had to go around it, had to follow the orange signs. But you know what? We got to our destination
We
anyway.
got there. It's always going to get there. All right, man, we got an episode to do.
Let's do this.
First off, I want to say, I would give a big shout out to Olivia, who suggested the topic of today's episode. She basically said, I want to know more about the bodies in the Bayou thing, but I don't have time to research it. So why don't you do an episode and let me know when it comes out?
And in case this gets dark and I can't joke around, I mean, I said earlier that was a great name for like a Cajun heavy metal band.
Bodies in the Bayou?
Yeah, I can hear that. I mean, I could actually see their logo. So if you're Cajun and heavy metal and you don't have a band name, I'm going to gift that to you. You can have it.
There you go. It is brilliant.
We don't want it. Anyway, continue on. So.
All right. So Houston is by far the most populous city in the state of Texas, with 2.4 million people living within the city limits and nearly 7 million in the metro area. The city limits sprawl over 650 square miles from the Sam Houston National Forest in the north to Galveston Bay in the south. Much of that area is just 50 or so feet above sea level, with several areas close to zero. The city only sits about 20 miles from the Gulf and directly next to Trinity Bay and Galveston Bay. And because of all this and the area's low elevation, over 2,500 miles of natural and man-made waterways, or bayous, spider web throughout the city. In such a populated city with so many scattered waterways, it shouldn't be a surprise that several bodies are discovered in those waterways every year. I found records back to 2017, and that year, 18 bodies were discovered in Houston's bayous. In 2018, 17 were discovered. The following year, 12. In 2020, 26 bodies were discovered. In 2021, 15 bodies. The next year after that, 19 bodies. And in 2023, there were 22 bodies found in the bayous.
I hate to say this. It sounds dark, but I mean, it seems legit in my brain. It seems surprising that they found any or even that many.
Yeah.
Like, how would you find? It just seems like you described so many places. Mm-hmm. So much bayou. It's surprising they found that many.
Basically, these are concrete ditches.
Okay.
They're calling these bayous, they're concrete ditches that run through all out the city, and most of them are only a couple feet deep.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So I guess I'm thinking of like traditional, like muddy marsh.
Swamp, marsh, yeah.
Okay.
No, yeah. Born in the bayou. Yeah, I was thinking that too. But
yeah.
No, just picture drainage ditches, just big, wide concrete ditches that run all over the city. But I mean,
it is the bayou, but it's not the swamp like you would. Okay.
I'm glad you said that, so we got that. I mean, other people were probably thinking the same thing, but no, we need to clarify that real quick. But then in 2024, there was a significant spike. In fact, that year set a new record with 35 bodies found.
Okay.
But it doesn't, it doesn't appear that many eyebrows were raised until the following year, 2025, last year. As far as I could find, 34 were found that year, one short of the previous record. So you're probably wondering why more attention has been focused on 25 than 24, when there were more bodies in 24. Even though the numbers weren't higher, there was a surge of bodies found in a single month. That would be September, and that caught many people's attention. So far that year, there had been bodies found nearly every month. On January 11th, 44-year-old Douglas Swearingen was found. His autopsy revealed he died of natural causes. The following month, on Valentine's Day, 24-year-old Carl Newman was found. His cause and manner of death are pending. And by the way, every other person discovered in 2025 other than Swearingen have pending as their cause of death. Hasn't been discovered or released yet. On March 26th, 56-year-old Rudolfo Solsa was found. 8 days later, 33-year-old Anthony Azua was found. The following day, 69-year-old Juan Garcia Laredo was discovered. And on May 7th, 34-year-old Ken Jones was found. 2 days later, two bodies were found on the same day, 54-year-old George Grays and 39-year-old Cusos Racias. And forgive me if my white ass can't say that name properly. I tried. Anthony Curry, 35, was discovered on May 17th. On May 30th, 14-year-old Shannon Davis was found, 14-year-old. On June 9th, the body of 62-year-old Ernest Armstrong was discovered, and 3 days later, 28-year-old Brent Brown. On July 17th, 30-year-old Raymond Hatton. On August 21st, 57-year-old Latricia Amos. And a week later, the body of 31-year-old Jamal Alexander was discovered floating in a Houston bayou.
It doesn't seem like, just based on what you said, it doesn't seem like there's commonalities in the victims.
Not at all.
So, I mean, going back to the John Douglas stuff, I mean, it just doesn't seem like they're linked because usually you have some similarities in, demographics and I don't know. I mean, so that's what makes this probably a really tough case.
Yeah, there's no similarities whatsoever. That's all, both sexes and ages 14 up into the 60s and all colors and creeds and nationalities and races of people. It's all over the place.
And water is a forensics nightmare.
Yep, we get into that later. Yeah, for sure. We're going to get to the 6 discovered just in September, and we'll focus a little more on them too.
Okay.
And while I don't have specific locations for the bodies I just mentioned, but I do know that most were scattered amongst a pretty large area around the city and not within a specific area, as everyone was probably wondering. Police have not released the location of where many of the 2025 bodies were found, but the few locations I was able to discover were all about 9 to 17 miles away from each other. So that's a pretty good spread.
Sure.
Or is it not? Some people might be like, oh, just 9 miles apart is pretty close. I don't know. You just kind of make of that what you will. Thankfully, we do have specific locations for the cluster of bodies that essentially jump-started the whole serial killer theory. And when they were all discovered the following month, that September, that is when the 6 bodies were found in the 2-week span. And it began with the disappearance of Jade Sage McKissick. We're going to refer to her as Sage because that's what she went by. So Sage was a 20-year-old in her junior year at the University of Houston. She was studying strategic communications and advertising. And she was a front desk assistant on campus and on the 2025 orientation team. She was insanely ambitious and had a laundry list of both academic and athletic awards she'd earned in high school to prove it. From all accounts, Sage was a good kid, active in church, and was not one to be impulsive or get into trouble. That's why what happened to her is so incredibly strange. On the evening of Wednesday, September 10th, this would be last year, 2025, Sage went out with some friends to a bar called L.A. Burgers and Daiquiris, located at the corner of Scott Street and Southmore Boulevard near Central Houston. As far as her activities in the bar that night, I found only one interview, and that was with the bar's owner, who simply said she seemed fine. So that's pretty vague.
Yeah.
But,
if it's a busy night, I could see him not having much on it, though.
yeah, and it's not his job to pay attention or her job to pay attention to all the patrons. But I do think if Sage had been overly intoxicated, she would have stuck out.
Yeah.
So when Sage left the bar around 1 a.m., which was now early hours of Friday 11th, the next day, she left alone and left her phone sitting on the table. Right here is where the questions and the heated debates begin, okay? Was she drunk? Why did her friends let her leave, especially without her phone? What did the friends have to say about that night? Couldn't find any interviews or...
Man, we've been here before.
Yeah.
We did a few cases in a row one time where it was like the phone wasn't taken and the person left. Of course, one of those cases, I remember that person being really intoxicated.
I think Chris Jenkins was that one on Halloween night, and that was in like Minnesota or Minneapolis, or the same place. But
in the watery demise too.
Yes. Yeah, very similar. I didn't think about him.
Yeah. Anyway, we need some good friends.
Yeah, I think you guys would.
Like, I hate my phone, but I usually don't leave without it.
Yeah, it's a necessary evil.
I mean, I leave it in the bedroom a lot, but I'm at home.
Yeah. And a young lady going anywhere without her phone ever.
Yeah, it's one of those things that make you go,
Yeah. Well, regardless of the circumstances that led up to that point, Sage walked from the bar to a Shell gas station, which is now a 24/7 station. So they're actually in the same building. It's one big, long building, and the gas station is up front, and the bar is located in the back. And this must be why the bar has a McGregor Street address when technically it faces the corner of Scott Street and Southmore Boulevard. Kind of confused me, but I guess...
did some detective work.
I did.
Good.
Oh, yeah, big time. Google Street View.
There you go. Hey, there's a Netflix murder thing. It's not real, but the title's something about the details. It's all in the details.
Yeah, man.
Or Lonnie's shirt, Devil's in the Details.
Yeah.
There we go.
We need to buy that shirt.
Yeah.
Is it for sale yet? Is he selling it yet?
I just like to have it as a poster.
That would be cool, too. In here.
Yeah.
In RedBeard Sound Studio. Well, anyways, she walked about 100 feet from the entrance of the bar to the Shell gas station. She went inside and she bought a slushie. This is all on CCTV, by the way, although all I could find were stills taken from the video. Sage is shown buying the drink, leaving the station, and walking south towards Bayou, which is just 373 feet from the station's entrance.
Someone measured it. Devil's in the details.
You know it, man. That's what I really get into. I want to know every goddamn thing. How many feet was it here? How long did it take her to walk? I got to hand it to, I can't remember what Houston radio station. I wish I could so I could give them a shout out. But this young lady, that was the reporter, she actually timed herself how far, on her phone, she hit time, how far it took her to walk from the gas station door to the Bayou. And it was like 1 minute and 20 seconds or something.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, if you just walk straight across. Wow. Yeah. So props to them for actually doing, like, how long would it take?
Yeah.
But anyway, a camera on the corner of the roof over the gas pumps caught the last images of Sage alive as she walked into the darkness towards the bayou.
Ooh, that's eerie.
Mm-hmm. When Sage was nowhere to be found the following day, she was reported missing. Right away, her final steps were traced and the CCTV footage at the Shell station was found. Police suspected they would more than likely find her in a bayou, and they did. 4 days later, on September 15th, near 4998 Spur 5. So, more investigation. This was confusing. Spur 5 is a roadway that runs about 1.3 miles east as the crow flies from where Sage was last seen. However, all accounts say she was located roughly 2.5 miles from where she was last seen, which put her more than a half mile further east near the Lidstone Street Bridge and Brays Bayou Greenway. So I don't know. Everything said she was found in the bayou near Spur 5, but like I said, that's too close because if her body was found 2.5 miles east as the bayou flows, it would have put her closer to Lidstone Street Bridge. But I don't know. I just wanted to throw that out there. An autopsy was performed, but no cause or manner of death has been released, and both are officially listed as pending, just like most of the other bodies. Therein lies the problem with determining the cause of death for many of the bayou bodies. Water, like Ivan, you said earlier, water speeds up decomposition. And I did a little research into the science on this. Surface temperatures in the nearby Gulf and Galveston Bay are very warm, usually 80 to 88 degrees. However, most of the water in the creeks and bayous that snake through Houston are typically 20 or so degrees cooler. This is because these waterways are freshwater or brackish systems influenced by rainfall and groundwater. Obviously, the colder the water, the slower the decomp. But even in water in the mid-60s, it significantly speeds up decomposition.
Okay.
So,
Interesting.
this is a breakdown of the effects of water on a body. Decomposition begins immediately after death, obviously. Regardless of environment, once the heart stops, oxygen delivery to cells ceases, and cells begin to break down through a process known as autolysis. Autolysis? What emphasis is on what syllable?
Yeah, I don't know.
Autolysis?
That's a new one for me.
In water, the internal breakdown proceeds normally, but external changes develop differently than they do on land. Obviously, that's what's in contact with the water. So day 1 to 2, within the first 24 to 48 hours, the body typically shows few outward signs of decomposition. Skin may appear pale or slightly bluish due to lack of circulation. Internally, enzymes begin digesting cell membranes and tissues. Cold water can slow visible decomposition during this period. Warm water, however, can cause bloating to begin sooner. Day 2 to 5. As bacteria in the gastrointestinal tract begin to produce gases such as methane and hydrogen sulfide, the body begins to swell. In water, this bloating can cause the body to float once enough gas is accumulated. The abdomen distends first, followed by the face and limbs. Skin may begin to loosen, and early skin slippage can occur, especially on the hands and feet. I know, we're going to get into the weeds here.
I just imagine Ernest.
Oh, yeah, you did the jaw thing, too. I didn't catch on to that. Day 5 to 10. During this phase, decomposition accelerates. Gas pressure increases, tissues soften, and the skin may blister or peel away. Aquatic exposure causes a phenomenon known as washerwoman skin, where prolonged immersion leads to wrinkling and whitening of the hands and feet. Insects are less involved than on land, but aquatic scavengers, such as fish, turtles, and crustaceans, may begin feeding on exposed tissue. In warm, stagnant water, the stage obviously is way more rapid. Day 10 to 20, the gases escape and soft tissues break down. The body may sink again. Muscle tissue weakens, internal organs liquefy, and large areas of skin may detach. Facial features can become difficult to recognize. The longer a body remains submerged, the more water infiltrates tissues, diluting bodily fluids and accelerating tissue breakdown. Forensic determination of external injuries becomes increasingly difficult during this stage. And I only went to a month out because I don't think any of these bodies were in the water longer than a month.
Yeah, and I mean, by this point, it's like, just imagine that, but grosser. It's hard as a human, like, your rational part's like, well, they're not there. That's not them anymore because they're past. But then you're just sitting here listening to that, and it's like, man, where the part where you said you can't recognize their face.
Yeah.
And that's where my brain is like, well, that's not them. But I guess the emotion part of you is like, wow, that's weird. You couldn't recognize who they were.
Yeah.
Or who they are, or however you want to put it. But it's just crazy to think about. You know, it's just like, I wonder if animals think that about other dead animals. I know humans think about that about other humans, but I wonder, like, if a dog sees a dead dog, if it's like, man, it's one of our pack.
That's a good question.
I just wonder if they even have a fleeting thought about it.
Right. When they see, like, oh, he's bloated and dead, and, like, that's one of us. Yeah. Could that be us? Is that going to happen to? Yeah, I don't know. Do they possess even the slightest amount of consciousness, you know, as far as that goes, to understand that? That's a good question, man. I don't. You hear these.
Say they do.
You hear these stories, and I don't doubt that they're true about, like, you know, these two animals, or even an owner. Like, the owner's passed away, and the animal, like, sleeps by its grave or doesn't eat anymore, or, you know, I think they do have some sort of understanding of loss. And
I think so, but somebody told me one time, and I can't remember exactly who told me, but cats will eat and dogs won't.
We've been over this, yeah.
Is that the way I'm understanding?
Yes.
Am I understanding that correctly?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I know cat people, we have cats too. I'm not an anti-cat person. I'm not throwing shade at your animal of choice, but there is something to be said for that. I mean, dogs we have domesticated, but I think cats have domesticated us.
Ask Ray Stapleton. Remember at the end of Ruby Stapleton's?
Yeah.
Old Ray passed away in his house, and his cats ate a lot of his body.
That's right.
That was documented.
But you know what? Maybe to defend the cat people, maybe the cat's like, he would have wanted us to eat him.
He would have wanted this. I'll start at the nose. That's so good.
He wouldn't want us to starve.
Yeah.
You know?
My daughter's cat, my daughter has really, really long hair, and my daughter's cat chewed like a pinky size around, like, chunk of her hair right off her head in her sleep the other night.
Whoa.
Her bangs, too, right in front. Wow. He just chewed it off. She woke up and went to brush her hair in the mirror, and she's like, oh, big chunk of hair missing. She found it in his cat bed, the little lunatic.
Wow.
Yeah. So
maybe the cat's like, she would have wanted that.
We'll give her some feathered bangs here before she wakes up.
Exactly.
We're going to do one more phase. This is up to a month, day 20 to 30. Now, this is late decomposition and skeletonization. After several weeks, most soft tissue has decomposed or been removed by scavengers. What remains depends heavily on environmental conditions. In warm, moving water, bones may separate and scatter. In colder, low-oxygen environments, decomposition may slow significantly, preserving some tissue for extended periods. In rare cases, a waxy substance called, I was supposed to practice this, adipocure, whatever it is, can form, which preserves body shape and slows further decay.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
I didn't know that process existed, but it totally makes sense.
There is a shipwreck that I read about, and
it's in the ocean.
It is in the ocean for sure. I know that. And it's cold down there. They found bodies down there, and oh my God, there's even
you're trying to be more Pacific. I know.
I know. And it's maybe the Atlantic. I don't know. I got that.
But anyway, what is it again?
There's a couple of bodies in this shipwreck that this has happened to.
Wow.
And there's even the name for one of them. God, I'm such an idiot. My memory
I've heard of that before.
Sucks lately.
But I know somewhere there was some kind of submarine that they found, you know, like 50 years later.
Yeah.
And the debate was, should we open it? Because they would definitely still be in there, you know, preserved.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
So back to Sage. In her case, as far as she's concerned, some believe she was intoxicated, which, you know, it's not a big jump. She was at this bar for a while.
Sure.
And then leaving her phone at the bar, to me, indicates that she was intoxicated enough to forget. You know, I don't think anyone these days just forgets their phone. It's kind of like glued to your hip.
Yeah.
Rarely, anyway. I don't know. So, yeah, some people think, you know what, it's a simple case of her being intoxicated and falling into the water. So blood alcohol level would be the next thing to determine.
Sure.
Unfortunately, water decomposition can significantly affect toxicological results as well. Submersion allows water to enter the body through natural openings and decomposing tissues. As decomposition progresses, blood and bodily fluids become diluted, and water-soluble drugs or toxins can leach out into the surrounding water. Okay? This can reduce detectable concentrations or eliminate them entirely, especially with alcohol, many prescription medications, and even some illicit substances. So although it seems like most of the Bayou bodies found had not been in the water for a long time, we just learned that it only takes a few days in the water to make determining cause of death much more difficult. That explains all those pending.
There has to be, are they above the murder rate anyway? And then also, they also have a bunch of water around, so they end up being the Bayou murders. You know, it's like, I don't know. It seems like that's probably something they're looking at. Like, oh, we're well over the rate. So it's almost like some of these you're going to have to start calling murder.
That's one thing I never looked up was Houston's murder rate and like where they ranked. I did not look that up. Mm-mm.
I would think
That's
it would be higher. I mean, it's a big city, so I think it is one of those ones that it's kind of high.
Yeah, normally like the large metropolitan areas like that, I mean, more people is just higher. But this goes per capita as well.
That's
murder
true.
rates. So that's a good, like we talked about Pine Bluff before is maybe not murders, but as far as crime, it's per capita. It's a smaller city, but man, it constantly ranks as like either the first or second worst in the United States.
For sure, yeah. Yeah. It's not great.
On the same day Sage was found, another body was discovered in Greens Bayou near the East Freeway, about 11 miles from the last place Sage was spotted. The police have yet to release any details on this person. The very next day, the body of 34-year-old Seth Hansen was discovered in the Greens Bayou near the 2300 block of Taylor Street. Mr. Hansen's investigation is still ongoing, and there's not been a cause of death released for him either. 2 days later, right in the middle of the cluster, 2 days later, on September 18th, witnesses reported seeing a man jump into the Buffalo Bayou near the intersection of Jensen and Navigation Boulevard, and they never saw him resurface. Soon, the body of 63-year-old Anulfo Alvarado was discovered. 2 days later, September 20th, the body of a 67-year-old Michael Rice was also discovered in Buffalo Bayou. About a week later, on September 26th, witnesses reported seeing another body, yet to be identified, in the Buffalo Bayou, this time near the intersections of Commerce and Millam Streets, near downtown. So this, again, as the crow flies, is about, close to 3 miles from where Michael Rice had been discovered. So the causes of death are all pending. I did get on Google Earth and create a map, and I pinpointed the spots of all of these bodies. And they're pretty much, so they're pretty much right in a line, most of them on Buffalo Bayou,
Oh, yeah, I see the yellow balloons.
Yeah, and they're separated by several miles, but if you zoom out of the whole city, they do look fairly close together.
Yeah.
So, this made 6 bodies discovered in less than 2 weeks, and by that time, many people in the area were growing concerned. By the way, I don't count the gentleman who, I think it was Anulfo Alvarado. People saw him, stumble into the bayou and not come up. So
Stumble or jump?
Well, I've seen it
Both
written
ways?
several ways. So obviously he wasn't murdered, right? I mean, so I don't know why they keep counting 6 bodies. He was discovered, but I don't count him whatsoever as being a victim of anything because people literally watched him walk into the bayou and not come back out. So I'm going to say 5.
Man, I just kind of wonder, is it Japan or Chinese that has like the forest where people go? And
the suicide forest,
yeah. I just kind of wonder if that's something that's driving up these numbers.
Is that the one that's like, it's like right at the base of Mount Fuji or something?
Yeah, I don't know enough about it, but I do know that that's a place where people like to go for that.
I'm just thousands, dude.
Yeah.
Like over the years, yes. It's very strange. Well, in America, it's the Golden Gate Bridge.
Yeah, we've talked about that on the podcast before.
So this made 6 bodies discovered in less than 2 weeks, and by that time, many people were growing concerned. Now, sure, bodies in the bayou were an unfortunate part of living in a big city fully intersected with thousands of miles of waterways, but this seemed a little excessive. Right away, though, Houston Chief of Police Noe Diaz and even Mayor John Whitmire publicly denounced any rumors of a serial killer stalking the streets and bayous of Houston. They vehemently deny the possibility, and from a law enforcement standpoint, I kind of get it. This alludes to what you said earlier, Ivan. Serial killers almost always have a preferred victim type and hunt within a certain demographic. Ted Bundy's type was very specific. He liked young, petite women with dark hair parted down the middle. Jeffrey Dahmer preferred young black men. John Wayne Gacy preferred young white men. And then there are those who seem to have a broader range and seem to prefer women just in general. Willie Picton and Gary Ridgway come to mind. They focused on prostitutes, undoubtedly because they were very easy targets.
Yeah.
Those found in the bayous around Houston did not fit into any demographic. We talked about this a minute ago. Their ages range from the 20s to the 60s, both male and female, black, Hispanic, and white. But there are other factors that could really help figure this thing out that have not been released to the public, like how many of these people were living on the streets? how many, if any, had been drinking, how many were, addicted to some kind of a substance, whether these deaths were accidental or the result of a serial killer. Answering these questions would help because sadly, those living on the margins of society are more vulnerable to either of those possibilities.
No part of me thinks that all or a good part would be because of one person, but there's a part of me that's thinking, man, some of it, if it's skewed way up above where it should be, there almost has to be an element. I mean, obviously, I'll say right now, I'm not going out on a limb by saying some of these are murders.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
But are they by one person, and what number is some? So I'm obviously not going out on a limb at all because I'm somewhere in the middle, but I don't know about just coming out and saying that we know that this is not, of course, that's not what you said they said, but I would definitely not support that. This is in no way some serial killer. I mean, it's argument from ignorance. It's like, well, you talk about how if they're in the water, it's washing away clues every day they're in the water.
Yeah.
So you're coming out with not a good case and saying, well, we don't have cause of death on a lot of these, but we know it's not a serial killer. I mean, and I get it. You don't want the public to go crazy and think there's a serial killer out there, obviously.
Yeah, they almost always deny that there isn't one until they're like kind of forced to admit that, okay, that there is one. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's kind of the go-to. And like you said, maybe it's not from a place of nefarious or anything.
I don't think it is. I think you want to play your cards close to the chest. I mean, my heart goes out to somebody working on a case like this.
Yeah.
Or a bunch of cases like this because it's incredibly difficult. So what do I know? But just as I said here, it just seems like there's more to it.
Well, so I thought more questions should be asked. Like maybe there is a common thread that's not so obvious. These are ones that came to my mind. Maybe you can come up with more. Maybe even something as small as like, did they all recently use the same rideshare service?
Oh, yeah, something like that.
Is there like an Uber killer? Or did they all visit some common area before their deaths, the same bar or store or park or whatever?
Yeah.
But we don't have that information,
Sure.
So much of this is just guesswork.
That's smart. I think I'm just going to assume the best and that they're doing that, hopefully.
Yeah. Hopefully the police, you would think to go, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sure that they have gone down those avenues.
Sure.
Hope to God so.
Yeah.
So maybe they know those answers, and maybe that's why they're sure there is no serial killer. Maybe they I don't know.
Oh, that's true. Every time they look at one of those avenues, it's no.
Yeah.
Which, I get it. If there's no evidence, I guess you should say there's no evidence. Yeah, and that's what they did. So, yeah, okay.
And as true crime fans, some people are biased. Like, yes, it is way more like dark and salacious and sexy for there to be this evil, serial killer stalking the bayous. That's way more interesting than just like, people are just falling in the bayous,
Yeah.
I understand, but you can't have a bias when you have a bias
true.
to the bayou.
For sure.
You know what I
mean? Bias to the bayou. Sam was saying the same thing.
So are these deaths a simple collection of tragic occurrences, or is there a serial killer lurking about the endless miles of Houston's waterways? Here's an interesting theory.
Go.
What if there is a serial killer, but not a conventional one? What if all the reasons the Houston PD is so sure there is no serial killer are the exact reasons that one could operate so undetected? Now, let me explain.
I gotcha.
If you're an aspiring serial killer and all you care about is the number of bodies, regardless of age, sex, race, or social standing, then killing whoever opportunity presents to you and dumping them in a nearby waterway would be the way to do it. Totally random victims, no type, no modus operandi, no motive, period. In fact, that may be the only way to be a successful serial killer in this day and age. So, the 70s and 80s seem to be like the golden age.
So it's like evolving.
Yeah.
Luckily, right now, as far as what the experts say, that doesn't exist. Luckily. I'm not saying it doesn't, but it's super rare. But can you imagine if it did?
What's that?
The random, just anyone.
Oh, yeah.
Luckily, some of these ones we've caught, they find the tie pretty easily. Before they've ever caught them.
Yeah. And also, too, just with, 70s, 80s, 90s, I think there were more serial killers back then because it was easier
to
get away with stuff back then. You know, it'd be easier in 76, 86, or even 96 than to get away with a murder in 2026.
Still a lot of unsolved crimes out there.
Yeah.
And I was talking to my friend about this the other day. It has to be a good amount of crimes that we've put away as solved that everyone, even all the, the annoying podcasters out there, have accepted the results of the investigation, that somehow it was a cover-up or somehow by chance it looks so much like the other person. There's got to be a percentage of that that's wrong.
Yeah.
I mean, the Innocence Project finds stuff all the time. But I mean, yeah, it's unsettling for sure. Didn't we look that up one time, the amount of unsolved that they actually deemed a murder, but it was unsolved? And I think you brought the stat one time, and it was alarming.
Yeah, I don't remember we did that for one episode, and I don't remember what the statistic was, but it was shocking.
Just
it was
because
a lot.
I feel bad because a few minutes ago I was talking like almost every crime had been solved. I was like, oh, we know that they only hunt within their own, demographic or whatever. But yeah. Anyway, continue on.
Well, it's sad that, like, along that same vein, if you go, I think it's the Charlie Project website, you can click to missing people, but you can also click to bodies that have been found that are unidentified. You know what I mean? There's two different categories, and, most of those bodies, were they murdered? Was it accidental? There's thousands on there, if I remember correctly. Maybe just hundreds.
Yeah.
But even hundreds is a lot.
My fear is we ever have a serial killer that acts around where there's like going to be a hurricane or a natural disaster thing.
That would be brilliant on their part.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean, I don't even know if I should have said that.
Someone somewhere just now was like, brilliant. Thank you, Ivan.
I don't know.
The blood of dozens of people are now on your hands.
Yeah, never
No,
mind.
I don't want to say that.
That's a bad idea. That would never work.
Well, forensics, and as back, speaking of, how much more difficult it would be for a conventional serial killer, with a certain type or demographic to get away with murder these days, forensics have improved by leaps and bounds. So back in the day, you didn't have to worry about DNA. There was no CCTV cameras on every corner, no digital footprint, no cell phone locations. So it was way easier to get away with shit. In fact, if you go back far enough, I love the John Mulaney joke. He's like, basically, as far as crime was concerned back in like the 20s, if you weren't still there when the police arrived, you got away with it.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Yeah, that's the way it was.
A serial killer today would have to work 10 times harder than his predecessors to not get caught. That is, unless you operated in the way I just described. Totally anonymous victims, no connections, no type, no similarities, no motive. All totally random crimes of opportunity. But is that what's going on in Houston?
Yeah, I hope not.
So at the end of all that, like, what's your search your heart? What do you really feel?
I think there's some murders in there. I don't know the number, but I think and the police probably think the same thing.
Yeah.
They just said they don't think there's a serial killer. So I don't know. I kind of think there may not be. There probably isn't. But I feel like there are some obviously nefarious things in there. Just unless, also, if I was a police officer working on this, which luckily I'm not because it would never get solved, I would look at other big cities that have a similar crime rate with a lot of water. There may not be any analogs to compare to, but you might want to say, hey, ours is, 6-1. So if you get something like that, I'm sure I know they're looking into this. And I know they probably looked into that same thing I said, but big, long way to say, I don't know. But obviously there's some murders in there. I mean, there have to be.
Yeah, I agree with you. I don't think there's a serial killer. I do think there's just a spike in murder victims, and they're ending up in these waterways.
Yeah.
Here's another thing I didn't think about, but, throughout I might get my exact years off, but basically 2021, 2, and 3, and 4, there was basically a completely open southern border, and millions of people crossed in, and Houston's pretty far south. So I do wonder if what's the woke term for it? Unhoused or whatever? I know they come up with rewording of things as if it helps. But, the population of homeless on the streets may have tripled. But then again, how many of these people were homeless? How many weren't? I know several that I named off were not. They were not homeless people, you know? So,
I mean,
did that have any effect on it?
Too, yeah.
So
Yeah,
yeah,
for sure.
you just got to take every single thing into account.
Yeah.
My thoughts on this are there could be many different people murdering people.
I would just hope that, you probably have some funding laying around. I just hope that you just get some more cameras in your city, and that's never a bad thing. You find a place that seems like a cluster and you quietly, slap a camera there. Cameras are cheaper than they ever have been, just like TVs are.
Yeah.
So like if I was a mayor of a city, any city, that'd be one initiative. Like, let's get cameras everywhere, Yep. And that's what's happening with traffic cams and all that kind of stuff. But that's going to help. And I know your citizens might feel like they're being watched, but if you're on a public street, public sidewalk, I've heard this debate before, there can be a camera there. What are you so afraid of? Now, I get it. You start putting it in other places, that's a little shady. But if you're on a public sidewalk, we want to see what's going on. What's wrong with that?
When you're in public, there is no law against you being filmed, even if someone walks up to you with their cell phone. Unfortunately, if you're in a public area, that's full fair game.
We get a lot of people harassing police officers like that too, in my opinion, where they're like putting a camera in front of their face, waiting for them to make a mistake. And, that's not cool, in my opinion. They have every right to do it, but still, I mean, come on.
You're hitting all around current events right now.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Well, even like you said with the cameras and stuff, even my idiot ass, I even figured that out because where I park my truck, I throw a bag of trash in the back of it and I haul it off the next day. And every morning I would get up and the bag of trash would be ripped open and scattered out in the bed of my truck.
Had a coon getting into it?
No, big old stripy cat. Like I had a camera already, but I had it aimed somewhere else. So I mounted it over where was like looking right in the back of my truck. And I see a big old stripy cat going in there, like just wreaking havoc. So what I started to do.
Basically a raccoon.
Yeah, pretty close.
You sure it's not a raccoon?
Every single night now, before I go to bed, I go out there and I pour, about a cup and a half of cat food in a little pile right in front of the trash bag. And I have had no problems for weeks. He'll eat the cat food, and he's like, cool, I'm out. He has a full belly. He has no reason to shred the trash. So,
hey, there we go.
Yeah. His little fat ass eats the cat food, and then it's kind of like my peace offering, like, here, dude, I don't want to hurt you or trap you or shoot you. I know all you want is little food, and you'll move on. So, we have an understanding, I think.
So we should put a mannequin out by those bayous.
Yeah, there you
and put a sign on it like, stab this, and they can stab it, and a little bit of blood will come out, and they can run away.
There you go.
That's the same as the cat food thing.
There you go.
That's my new initiative. The Dummy Victim Initiative.
Yeah. You're just going to have there's escape rooms. You'll have murder rooms. Like, you have murderous impulses?
Yeah.
Here's really lifelike mannequins full of red dye that you can just slash up. Jesus. If that ever happens, I hope the FBI is taking a list of who goes in and out of there.
That's true. Yeah, they're going to flag them. I mean, yeah, if you don't stay in the straight and narrow. Yeah. They already have those smash rooms, which is not like that.
Yes, they do.
There's one in Fayetteville. That sounds pretty cool. You get to, hit a lamp with a bat.
I guess that's fun, right? I don't know.
That's what I do at home already.
Ivan's house is wrecked. He's a madman. His family's terrified of him.
Yeah, not really. I don't think they're too afraid of me.
Well, 417-4-MANTIS, you call us. You understand out there listening? You call us right now. You tell us what you think. You tell us if you believe there's a serial killer out there. You tell us if you kind of agree with me. It's like, no, man, it's just an increase of violent crime, maybe, and these people are going to end up in these bayous. Who
Somebody's
knows?
probably like, hey, there's multiple serial killers, which, we couldn't really combat that.
True.
The data supports it in a way, especially after you said. Mm-hmm. The old rando serial killer.
Yeah, and I don't know how the FBI would know this, but they released a statistic the other day that they believe there's, oh God, I'm going to murder the number. Well, pun intended. I really didn't mean to do that. That's
perfect.
Wait, I'm going to butcher the number. Wait, that's no better.
Freudian slip. Yeah, for sure.
But they believe there's at least a few dozen active serial killers out there right now in the U.S.
Yeah.
So
I don't know.
There you go.
Are.
Yep. Well, that's it. Like I said, give us a holler. Let us know what y'all think. I'm curious. But that's what we have. Hopefully we did a decent job on this for you.
Yeah, thanks for the recommendation.
Yeah, answered all your questions. I'm always open to recommendation. We're coming up on our 400th episode. That's a lot of different topics. So also 417-4-MANTIS, if you got an idea for an episode that you want to hear.
Hit us up on Instagram or Facebook.
There you go. Let us know. Thanks for listening. Good night.
In the shadow of the pines they speak, Whispers rising where the lost ones peak. Joe's got the facts that keep us informed about true crime, mystery, and so much more. Friday morning, the curtains torn. Truth and myth in the Ozark morn. It's a remedy for too much time on your hands. Just take a little listen to the Dawn of Mantis podcast. They've got murders, vanishings, cults and cold hollow, aliens and Bigfoot knocking at your door. In the dark of the woods, the stories hide. Disappearances where secrets collide. Cults that chant beneath the moon's grin. A world of shadows where tales begin. Every corner a whispered name. Echoed cries that fuel the flame. It's a remedy for too much time on your hands. Just take a little listen to the Dawn of Mantis podcast. They've got murders, vanishings, cults and cold hollow, aliens and Bigfoot knocking at your door.